Today, we're looking at the Fourth Doctor's Cardigan, a Doctor Who costume replica by Lovarzi. This one almost passed us by, as it's been quite a while since Lovarzi last released any Doctor Who product, but this was a welcome, if not entirely surprising, addition to their line of officially licensed merchandise. Lovarzi have been producing scarves and knitwear since 2007. They first dipped their toes into the Doctor Who license with a replica of the Fourth Doctor's original 13-foot scarf, although admittedly the colours were a little off. All was quickly forgiven when they returned with the Fourth Doctor's incredible 18-foot scarf, which was absolutely stunning and really has to be worn to be believed. Alongside a shorter version of the burgundy scarf from season 18, they also ventured into the Fifth Doctor's era, producing a replica of his iconic cricket jumper. Then, they did a deep dive into the Seventh Doctor, creating not only the infamous question mark pullover, but also replicas of his silk paisley scarf and hanky, featured on his hat and hanging from his jacket pocket, as well as re-releasing his question mark umbrella originally produced by Abishot. They also offer a range of other Doctor Who branded merchandise. I've often talked about this on this channel, but franchises like Doctor Who and Star Trek sometimes seem to underestimate the marketing potential of their own iconography. With the explosion of online cosplay, fans want to recreate their favourite characters, and extending licenses to companies like Lovarzi, who, let's be honest, produce moderately priced, good quality costume replicas, is a smart business move. Yes, it's niche, it's not mass-produced and sitting on shelves of major retailers, but it is accessible and it's a strong use of the IP. If a character's iconic look includes a scarf, then make the scarf. That is marketing 101. This cardigan first appears with the debut of the Fourth Doctor's costume in his very first story, Robot. It carries through the Sontaran experiment and Genesis of the Daleks before making its final appearance in Revenge of the Cybermen. After that, it's replaced by a tartan waistcoat in Terror of the Zygons, likely due to the Scottish setting, and is never seen again. In Robot, the Doctor has just regenerated when a break-in occurs at a weapons research centre and top-secret plans are stolen. A second robbery soon follows, prompting the Brigadier to enlist the newly regenerated Doctor to investigate. Meanwhile, Sarah Jane Smith visits Think Tank, a scientific research establishment, and learns that their head of robotics has recently departed. After discovering that something enormous is stealing plans for a disintegrator gun, the Brigadier orders an electronics manufacturer to be locked down. However, something drills up from beneath the vault and steals the parts anyway. Sarah visits Professor Kettlewell, concerned that someone might be continuing his work. Returning to Think Tank, she comes face to face with a giant robot. Startled by Miss Winters, the head of Think Tank, Sarah realizes the robot, K1, may be misused. Winters orders it to kill her, but the robot refuses, as the command violates its prime directive. Sarah returns to unit, convinced that the robot is behind the robberies, but the Brigadier needs proof. Miss Winters then has the robot reprogrammed to kill a public servant and steal atomic missile launch codes. The Doctor, Sarah and the Brigadier visit Kettlewell, who fears that forcing the robot to act against his prime directive will drive it mad. A background check reveals that the Think Tank staff are members of the Scientific Reform Society, a group intent on reshaping the world through science. Sarah attempts to investigate one of their meetings, but is turned away. The Doctor and the Brigadier return to Think Tank, only to be told that the robot has been destroyed. After they leave, Miss Winters is introduced to a ministry official, Dr. Harry Sullivan, working undercover. Back at unit, the Doctor receives a call from a distressed Kettlewell and arrives at his house to find the robot waiting. Sarah and unit arrive just in time and the robot retreats, leaving Kettlewell locked in a cupboard. Kettlewell later explains that the robot is made of a living metal. He helps Sarah infiltrate an SRS meeting, revealing himself as a member, but it soon becomes clear that he is working with Miss Winters all along. Unit raids the meeting, but Sarah is abducted as Think Tank retreats into a bunker. When unit locates the bunker, they encounter the robot armed with a disintegrator gun. Miss Winters threatens global destruction unless her demands are met. Overwhelmed by the violence he's helped unleash, Kettlewell attempts to stop the countdown, freeing Sarah and Harry. However, the robot becomes confused by conflicting orders and kills its creator. Miss Winters restarts the countdown, which the Doctor stops with just 2 seconds to spare. In its unstable state, the robot takes Sarah hostage. While the Doctor and Harry work on a metal virus based on Kettlewell's notes, the Brigadier takes matters into his own hands and fires the disintegrator gun, which backfires, causing the robot to grow to a colossal size. Placing Sarah safely on the rooftop, the Doctor and Harry arrive in Bessie with a foaming bucket of the metal virus, throwing it onto the robot and causing it to shrink and dissolve. Back at Unit HQ, the Doctor comforts Sarah over the loss of the robot, which she believed had good intentions, and offers her a trip in the TARDIS. As they prepare to leave, a disbelieving Harry joins them for a proving flight, with the Brigadier arriving just in time to watch the TARDIS fade away once more. The Fourth Doctor's costume was designed by award-winning costume designer James Acheson, establishing Tom Baker's iconic look, particularly the long multicolored scarf that became synonymous with both his Doctor and Doctor Who itself. It's said Acheson drew inspiration from, and I'm going to butcher this, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec posters, though it was never his intention for the scarf to end up quite so long. That honour belongs to a misunderstanding when the knitter was instructed to use all the wool she had been given. The original costume consists of a burgundy corduroy jacket worn over a brown argyle cardigan, a white checkered shirt, and a green striped neckerchief. This is paired with grey tweed trousers, brown derby shoes, the striped scarf, and a dark brown poet-style fedora. On the occasions where Baker removes the jacket, we can get a clearer look at the cardigan. The dark brown, yellow, and tan colours are largely spot on, but the darker brown in the argyle pattern on screen appears to match the trim and waistband rather than the sleeve colour. Both in colour and how they sit off the shoulders look like they may originate from a different garment altogether. The same applies to the pockets, which should ideally be darker brown. It's difficult to be definitive though, as the reference material is often obscured by the scarf, jacket, or neckerchief. It also appears there should be 2 pockets on either side rather than 3. Lovarzi have openly stated, for both accuracy and practicality, the cardigan's length is a compromise between the screen-used garment and the wearable everyday garment. The extended sleeves are intended to be folded back. For me, the sleeves fit perfectly fine. We picked up an extra small, measuring a 38-inch chest with a 25-inch sleeve. This works well for someone who typically wears a small, though it's worth noting that there's very little stretch in this material. The cardigan is made from 100% acrylic wool, making it warm and comfortable, and it's available in sizes ranging from extra small through to extra large. Overall, this is a very nice replica of the Fourth Doctor's cardigan. Is it 100% screen accurate? No. But it's a solid approximation of a piece that fans would otherwise need to commission at great expense or heavily customized from an off-the-shelf garment. I'm genuinely glad that Lovarzi still hold the Doctor Who license and continue to produce new items, and I'm very much looking forward to what comes next. Perhaps the green, black and white neckerchief might be a nice future addition to their scarf line. If you've enjoyed this review, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Doctor Who reviews. Thanks for watching, and until next time.